Hello and welcome. Today we are going to talk about something that I know is on the minds of many of you. It's a topic that can bring with it a great deal of worry. It often starts in a doctor's office with words like atherosclerosis, plaque, or blockage. Hearing that your arteries, the vital highways that carry life-giving blood throughout your body, are clogged can feel like a verdict. It can be frightening, and it can leave you feeling uncertain about the future. You may have been experiencing symptoms for a while, perhaps a tightness in your chest, a new feeling of breathlessness when you climb the stairs, or a persistent fatigue you just can't shake. And I want you to know, the shock, the fear, the worry you may be feeling, those feelings are completely normal, and they are valid. But what if that diagnosis wasn't a final verdict? What if it was a starting point? That brings us to the core question of our time together today. Can you really reverse plaque in your arteries? For decades, the common answer you would have received is no. But according to the clinical experience of one of the nation's leading preventative cardiologists and a growing body of groundbreaking research, the answer is a firm, scientific yes. But it's a yes with an important distinction. And understanding that distinction is the key to reclaiming your health. Stay with me as we explore the science that makes this possible. To begin, we must dismantle a common and powerful misconception. For years, we've been taught to think of arterial plaque like rust in a pipe, a hard, inert, permanent substance that can only be managed with medications or bypassed with surgery. This imagery is simple, but it is deeply misleading, and it takes away our power. A leading preventative cardiologist I've had the privilege of working with often tells his patients, "We've been thinking about this all wrong. This isn't a plumbing problem, it's a biological problem, and biology can be changed." This is the foundational insight. The plaque in your arteries is not one single substance. It's a complex, active biological tissue. And the most important thing to understand is that not all plaque is created equal. There are broadly two types. First, there is older, more stable, calcified plaque. You can think of this as a hardened scar within the artery wall. It's firm, and while it contributes to narrowing, it's less likely to cause a sudden catastrophic event. For the most part, this type of plaque is not reversible. It's there to stay. But then there is the second type of plaque. This is the plaque we truly need to worry about. It's known as soft, lipid-rich, or vulnerable plaque. This plaque is soft and fatty, and it is teeming with inflammation. It has a thin, fragile cap covering a core that's like a toxic stew of cholesterol and inflammatory cells. This is the plaque that is prone to rupture, suddenly breaking open and causing a blood clot to form that can lead to a heart attack or stroke. It is, without question, the most dangerous type of plaque. But here is the crucial, hopeful truth. This dangerous, soft, inflammatory plaque is also the most treatable. It is the most responsive to change. It is the plaque that we can stabilize, shrink, and in many cases, measurably reverse. Learning that the most dangerous type of plaque is also the most reversible can be a profound realization. It might feel unsettling to question what you've always been told, but it's also incredibly hopeful. It means you have more power than you thought. I recall a case from this cardiologist practice, a 67-year-old retired teacher who came to him after being told his options were limited. He was fatigued, he had chest pain during his daily walks, and he was deeply worried about his future. He felt his life was shrinking. He committed to a highly specific, intensive program designed to target the root causes of his disease. His follow-up scans a year later showed something remarkable. Not only had the disease progression stopped cold, but advanced imaging, the kind that can see inside the artery wall itself, showed a measurable reduction in the volume of that soft, lipid-rich plaque. His arteries were literally becoming cleaner. This isn't just an anecdote. So, how do we create those right conditions for reversal? The most powerful tool we have, the one that forms the bedrock of every successful reversal program, is intensive nutritional therapy. The cardiologist I refer to is unequivocal on this point. You cannot reverse this disease without fundamentally changing the fuel you put in your body. The how is based on decades of research from pioneers like Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, whose studies have shown, with angiographic evidence, that a specific way of eating can halt and reverse coronary artery disease. The core principle is a diet centered on whole, unprocessed plant foods. The foods you are encouraged to eat in abundance are the ones that heal. This includes all vegetables, especially leafy greens like kale, spinach, and Swiss chard, which are rich in compounds that help your arteries relax and function properly. It includes all whole fruits, not juices. It includes all whole grains like oats, quinoa, and brown rice, and all legumes. That means beans, chickpeas, and lentils of every variety. The power of this approach comes just as much from what you remove. The protocol that has demonstrated reversal calls for the elimination of all animal products. No meat, no poultry, no fish, and no dairy. It also calls for the elimination of all added oils. Yes, that includes olive oil. And finally, it requires eliminating refined and processed foods like white flour, sugar, and sugary drinks. The why behind this is critical. This is not about a particular dietary dogma. It is about removing the agents of injury. The excess saturated fat and dietary cholesterol from animal products are direct building blocks of plaque. Added oils, even so-called healthy ones, are highly processed, calorie-dense, and can impair the function of our artery lining. By removing these injurious foods, you stop adding fuel to the fire of inflammation. You starve the plaque of its building blocks and create a healing environment. Now, I recognize that for many, this is a significant change. If this feels too drastic to start, the cardiologist often recommends a powerful first step: adopting a strict Mediterranean diet. This eating pattern, rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and using olive oil as the primary fat, while significantly reducing red meat and processed foods, has been shown to slow plaque progression and improve heart health. It is a fantastic foundation to build upon. However, there is a critical mistake to avoid. In recent years, the market has been flooded with plant-based processed foods. A vegan burger loaded with sodium, saturated coconut oil, and a long list of chemical additives can be just as harmful to your arteries as what you were eating before. The principle is whole foods, not just plant foods. If it was made in a factory and comes in a box with a paragraph of ingredients, it is not the medicine we are looking for. I understand that looking at this list of foods can feel restrictive at first. It's a departure from the way many of us have eaten our entire lives. But I want you to reframe it. This isn't about deprivation. Diet is half of the equation. The other half is movement. But not just any movement. We're talking about targeted physical activity that directly retrains your arteries to function properly again. The American Heart Association provides clear guidelines. The goal is to accumulate at least 150 minutes of moderate-intensity aerobic activity each week. That could be 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Moderate intensity means you can still talk, but you couldn't sing a song. Brisk walking, cycling on a stationary bike, or water aerobics are all excellent examples. In addition, they recommend 2 sessions per week of strength training that targets all the major muscle groups. This doesn't mean you need to become a bodybuilder. Using your own body weight, simple resistance bands, or light hand weights is perfectly effective. But why is exercise so powerful? The magic happens at a microscopic level, on the inner lining of your arteries, a delicate layer called the endothelium. When you exercise, your heart pumps more blood, and this increased blood flow creates a gentle, flowing force against the artery wall. This force is called shear stress. Think of it as a gentle massage for your arteries. This shear stress is a signal. It tells the endothelial cells to produce more of a miracle molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a potent vasodilator, meaning it tells the smooth muscle in the artery wall to relax, allowing the artery to widen and blood to flow more freely. It also makes the surface of the endothelium non-stick, preventing inflammatory cells and cholesterol from gaining a foothold. It is a powerful anti-inflammatory agent. With every walk, every bike ride, you are literally exercising your endothelium back to health. Now, a common and very important question that the cardiologist hears is this: what if I have arthritis, or bad knees, or other limitations? For me, exercise hurts. This is a reality for many, and it's a crucial point. The goal is never to push through pain. The goal is to find movement that works for your body. Low-impact activities are your best friend. For example, water exercise is a phenomenal option. Walking or doing aerobics in a pool supports your body weight, taking nearly all the stress off your hips, knees, and ankles, while the water itself provides gentle, consistent resistance. You can also get a fantastic workout from a sturdy chair, using resistance bands for strength training or following guided routines specifically designed for seated exercise. Another wonderful option is Tai Chi. This ancient practice of slow, flowing movements is proven to improve strength, balance, and flexibility, and it is highly recommended by organizations like the Arthritis Foundation. The most common reason people stop an exercise program is that they try to do too much too soon. They remember what they could do at age 30 or 40, get frustrated with their current abilities, and give up. Please, I ask you to let that go. Your starting point is right here today. A 10-minute walk down the block and back is a victory. 5 chair squats while the kettle boils is a victory. This journey is not about perfection. Let's take a breath and connect these ideas. We started with a problem: dangerous, unstable plaque building up in our arteries, driven by injury and inflammation. We've now introduced 2 powerful evidence-based solutions: intensive nutrition and intelligent exercise. It's important to see how they work together. They are not separate ideas, but a synergistic system. Think of it this way: the whole food, plant-based diet is like cutting off the fuel supply to the fire of inflammation and plaque growth. It stops the ongoing damage. The consistent, intelligent exercise is like sending in a specialized repair crew. It actively improves the function of your arteries, retraining them to produce nitric oxide, to relax, and to heal. They are 2 halves of a single powerful system of recovery. You have been with me for nearly 20 minutes now. You have absorbed a great deal of complex, important information. I want to acknowledge your focus and your commitment to your own health. You are already taking a powerful step just by being here and learning. But what if I told you that these 2 pillars, diet and exercise, are powered by an even deeper biological mechanism, and that understanding this final piece of the puzzle is what makes these changes not just possible, but sustainable for the long term? We promised at the beginning that science says yes to reversing plaque. In this next section, we will uncover the fundamental process in your body that makes that yes a reality. The unifying force behind this entire process, the engine that drives atherosclerosis from its earliest stages to its most dangerous complications, is a single biological process: chronic, low-grade inflammation. Let me explain this simply. It all starts with an injury to the delicate single-cell thick lining of the artery, the endothelium. This initial damage can be caused by the constant friction of high blood pressure, the toxic chemicals from cigarette smoke, or high levels of the bad LDL cholesterol circulating in your blood. When this injury occurs, your immune system does exactly what it's supposed to do. It sounds an alarm and sends inflammatory cells, its first responders, to the site to contain the damage and begin the healing process. This is acute inflammation, and it's a good thing. But the process goes wrong when it becomes chronic. In the artery, LDL cholesterol can get trapped at the site of the injury. There, it becomes oxidized. You can think of it as becoming rancid. The immune cells, called macrophages, try to clean up this mess by eating the oxidized LDL. But they eat so much that they become bloated and dysfunctional, turning into what scientists call foam cells. These foam cells are the very core of early plaque. And here's the vicious cycle. These foam cells don't just sit there. They are biologically active, and they release more inflammatory signals, which call in even more immune cells to the area. This creates a state of self-perpetuating, low-grade inflammation that smolders for years, or even decades, inside the artery wall. This is the fire that builds the plaque, makes it unstable, and ultimately leads to heart attacks and strokes. When you begin to implement the strategies we've discussed, the whole food diet and the regular exercise, you are directly targeting this inflammation. You are cooling that fire. And you may notice the effects in your whole body long before your next heart scan. People who adopt this lifestyle often report that within weeks, their chronic joint pain from arthritis starts to ease. They have more energy in the afternoon. Nagging digestive issues might calm down. Some even notice improvements in their mood and cognitive clarity. These are not coincidences. These are the first signs that the fire of chronic inflammation is beginning to cool down throughout your entire system. It's your body sending you a clear signal. Thank you. This is working. We've talked about diet, we've talked about exercise, and we've uncovered the deep science of inflammation. Now we bring it all together with the single most important principle for turning this disease around, the one idea that makes everything else make sense. The unifying principle is this: you must aggressively protect and heal your endothelium. Remember that endothelium? It is that delicate one-cell thick lining inside all of your 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Think of it as the intelligent, non-stick surface of your cardiovascular system. A healthy endothelium is a biological marvel. It produces that miracle molecule, nitric oxide, which keeps your arteries relaxed, open, and flexible. It prevents blood from clotting when it shouldn't. It signals the immune system to stay calm and not overreact. The endothelium is the guardian of your cardiovascular health. Atherosclerosis, at its very core, is a disease of a damaged, dysfunctional, and inflamed endothelium. Every single strategy we have discussed today is designed to do one thing: stop injuring the endothelium and give it the tools it needs to repair itself. When you make healing your endothelium the single focus of your efforts, everything else falls into place. It simplifies every choice. The food you eat either nourishes it or harms it. The exercise you do either trains it or neglects it. The stress you manage either calms it or inflames it. This is not about memorizing a dozen different rules. It is about one mission: to restore the health of this vital lining. And when you succeed in that mission, you don't just halt the disease. You create the precise biological conditions that allow for stabilization, for regression, and for reversal to occur. You empower your body to do what it is designed to do: heal itself. This can feel like a lot of information, so let's distill it into a simple, practical plan to get you started. Think of this as a clinical action plan beginning today. Step 1. The food foundation. For the next 7 days, I want you to commit to making just one meal a day, a pure, whole food, plant-based meal. No animal products, no added oils. Just vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. Lunch is often the easiest place to start. This is a small, achievable step that begins the process of healing. Step 2. The movement mindset. For that same week, schedule a 15-minute walk every single day. It doesn't have to be fast or strenuous. The goal is simply to create the habit of daily motion. Put it in your calendar like any other important appointment. Step 3. The medical partnership. This journey is not one you should take alone. It is essential to work with your doctor. Talk to them about what you've learned. Discuss your LDL cholesterol goals. Many experts now believe that for regression to occur, LDL levels need to be driven very low. Ask if intensive lifestyle therapy is right for you. Remember, medical therapy, like statins, is a critical and proven part of stabilizing plaque and reducing risk, and it works hand in hand with these lifestyle changes. This journey begins with a single step. It is not about being perfect tomorrow. It is about being a little bit better than you were yesterday. There will be days when you struggle, when you eat something you didn't plan to, or when you miss a walk. That is part of being human. On those days, do not meet yourself with judgment. Meet yourself with compassion, and simply begin again with the next meal or the next walk. You are taking back control of your health, and that is an incredibly powerful thing. Thank you for investing this time in your health and for allowing me to share this vital information with you. This journey is often easier when we walk it together, knowing we're not alone. In the comments below, I invite you to share one thing, not a number from the test result, but a feeling. What is one hope you have for your health, or perhaps one fear you are working to overcome? By sharing our experiences, we can build a community that supports and learns from one another. Remember, knowledge is the first step, but it is action that creates transformation. You have the power to change the course of this disease. If you found this information valuable, please like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more evidence-based guidance to help you live a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life.